Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform, our platform to become your spiritual server. And welcome Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, and Scorpio Rising, or anybody that just wants to hang out with the protectors, with Scorpio Tribe, to your September 2018 report. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. What's happening in astrology? What's happening in the cards for you this month? Well, the main two things I'm going to be covering in these videos are the major lunar phases. We have a new moon in Virgo. We also have the full moon in Aries. The new moon in Virgo will actually be occurring this week on September 9th. It's going to be at 17 degrees, and that's going to be around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This, for you, is going to be the 11th house, so dealing with other people, social contracts, friends, humanitarianism, service to other people. So this new moon in Virgo is going to be really powerful for you because Scorpio, of course I'm right here with you because my Sun's here, and my Mars and my Pluto conjunct within 4 degrees. So I'm right here with you guys. But you, Scorpio, have been working hard, and you've been feeling like you've been getting the shaft. And it's like you feel like you've been working hard, and you've been feeling like you've been having these tiny little breakthroughs, And people are noticing, of course, Scorpio, but you're looking for that major breakthrough. And this is probably going to actually set it off because, this is about you setting a new reality, but it's going to deal with, people or friends. So for those of you Scorpios who consider yourself a bit of a recluse or a bit of a hermit and stuff, and you're wanting more success, this is going to be the perfect opportunity for you to kind of break out of your shell, to break out of your comfort zone, and to expand, to connect, to explore, to network with other people. For those of you who are already doing that, you're going to kind of just notice, especially from here until the next time that the full moon comes into Pisces, that if you continue to do the work and continue to meet people halfway, your network is going to double, triple, quadruple. You're going to be so astounded at how magical this new moon is going to be for you, Scorpio, because by you expanding your network, you're going to just start to, you're going to start to feel more and more successful. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a monetary way, although it will probably come in a monetary way as well. But this is going to really allow you to just kind of overcome this bit of a slump that you've had for the past, really you can say since Saturn went into Scorpio. And yeah, it's like it went into, Sagittarius, of course, which for you is your second house, and now it's in Capricorn, your third house. But so you're trying to you're trying to better your communication, especially with yourself. So right now it's not so much that you haven't been putting in the work and stuff like that, but it's really this whole hangover of all these energies that you've had, because we've had a lot of heavy energy that's come through there. And you got to think about it, we're not done, because Venus is going to retrograde here, right? So, but out of all the energies, this might be one of, I guess you could say, the easier one to deal with, but not necessarily, because it is going to be bringing up relationships and stuff like that. But, after this, we're not going to have too much retrograde energy coming into this spot. So really, it's like you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. You really can feel like I've been working hard, I've been putting in the work, I've been putting in the effort. But now with this new moon in Virgo for you in the 11th house, it's about now people are going to start to really notice that. And people are going to be reaching out to you, and hopefully you should reach out to other people as well, Scorpio. So this is also kind of dealing with issues of trust, because you naturally roll the 8th house, and since this is happening in the 11th house for you, there's a bit of tension here, there's a bit of friction here, but also, you trusting in yourself to expand your boundaries, to expand your comfort zones. So when you start networking with people, you're going to start just manifesting magic here and there, just it's going to be amazing. And the other cool thing about it is that we do have this full moon in Aries on September 24th, and this is happening at 2 degrees, and this is powerful because for you, this is your 6th house, about day-to-day reality. So what's going to happen kind of in between these lunar cycles, between these lunar events, you're going to kind of get a glimpse into what the future can be like. And I kind of almost feel like that's what this is. We're all kind of getting a glimpse into the future of what is possible in our day-to-day reality, what's possible in who we interact with, what's possible in who we can become. So you're going to get kind of a glimpse, but then with this full moon, this is going to be about what can you do in your everyday reality to really honor yourself and like honor like your spirit, honor, your authenticity. So you're going to be you're going to kind of be testing it out between the new moon in Virgo and the full moon in Aries. You're going to be kind of testing it out. But by the time, like I said, this full moon happens, and then when we come back and we get that new moon in Aries 6 months later, you're going to really, based off of the change that you made in your day-to-day reality and whether or not you honor yourself, your life will look dramatically different. Like, it's going to look dramatically different. And you're going to be feeling invigorated. You're going to be feeling great. Quite frankly, you're going to be feeling great. There will still be challenges and obstacles, of course. But not only that, but you have, by that point, would have established a great network and tribe of people that you can reach out to, so that if you find yourself in a particular situation, you can actually reach out to certain individuals and they'll understand you on a deeper spiritual level, and you'll get like this form of therapeutic communication. I had this with a good friend that I haven't even met in person yet, but it's going to happen. We've lived multiple lives together and stuff, and we will continue to live multiple lives with each other. But it's funny because he was my spiritual life coach, because I actually did pay him for his services, and it was great. I really valued it. But really, what we got out of it more so was the friendship, because we still talk. And he reached out to me the other day, just kind of wanting to vent and stuff like that. So you're gonna find your people like that you can do that with, and it's gonna be great. But the only way it's really gonna happen is if you kind of come outside your comfort zone a bit. So the card that we have, oh, look at this. You're drawing the card of universal love. Aww, isn't that sweet? But the funny thing about universal love is not like the gushy, like Hollywood love. This is like that true, authentic, deep spiritual love, that deep camaraderie that you feel for your fellow beings, your fellow spirit beings, your fellow infinite beings here. People, animals, plants, whatever, stones. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of existence itself. So, incredible card to be drawing as your sacred geometry activations to kind of back up this whole reading. I'm really excited to get into this. What is happening for you? Top of the deck, we actually had the Ten of Cups in reverse. I don't want you to be alarmed, because even if this card is reversed, it's really a really powerful thing. And the thing about these reversals is that it's kind of like a planet in retrograde. It's more or less a review period. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything bad is going to happen. It just means that you kind of have to just review a bit. Because if you do review a bit and you actually utilize your free will, you could turn that frown upside down. Oh, and look at that. We got the Ten of Cups, which is speaking to an emotional fulfillment, happiness, joy. It's like some of you might be settling down. Some of you might be finally deciding to go get that house with your partner. Some of you might have a kid on the way. Some of you might get pregnant. Like, seriously, some of you seriously might get pregnant this month. No joke. Like, some of you might seriously get pregnant. But this is really about coming into the space of this deep appreciation for, and look, they're sitting at their home. They're just probably doing what they're normally doing and stuff. Doesn't look like it's super exciting. Like, they're not necessarily going skydiving. They're not necessarily doing rock climbing or parasailing, and all that stuff sounds fun and great. And there's even, especially with Venus coming in your sign, you're going to want a little bit more stimulation, of course. But the Ten of Cups energy is awesome, because it's also saying that you can find this joy and happiness in your everyday reality. You can find the tiny adventures in your everyday reality, and you can feel fulfilled, which is something that you are wanting. You are seriously wanting it, and everyone's wanting it, to feel fulfilled in their everyday life, even if on the external it seems ordinary. You know that it's extraordinary, because you value yourself, and you value the people around you, the beings around you. Let's see what else we have in store for here for this moment. Oh, we have a couple of cards that just decided to fall out. One of them cards is the infamous Tower card. What's going on here? We have the Tower card, which actually popped up with the Three of Pentacles and the Chariot card. Some of you might be involved with a certain business, or even some of you might be switching jobs now. Some of you might find yourself maybe some of you who are business owners and stuff like that, you might suffer some type of financial setback, but it's almost like you're being also given an opportunity to, rebound quite quickly. The Tower here isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's talking about some type of abrupt ending. But with the Three of Pentacles and the Chariot card here, this is really speaking to, whatever is falling away, this is seriously just divine love, and everything is divine love. But it's almost gonna be like, oh, I kind of saw this coming. But you're not going to be as reactive to it as you might have thought you would have been, or oh my goodness, if this was like maybe like a year ago, you would have been a little bit more reactive to this sort of thing. But something is falling away. Some of you maybe, like I said, switching jobs. I'm feeling a lot of it's career based, and that's probably because the Three of Pentacles is here. But with the Chariot card here, which is speaking to your willpower, and kind of like arriving at this stage and kind of being like kind of being on a pedestal, but not really. But there's going to be some type of, and this could be maybe even something that you find valuable that you might have put on this pedestal. Something that you might have found value, maybe a certain habit that you have, or maybe even a certain thing that you have. Maybe something that you have placed a great amount of value in. Like maybe you have like this signed baseball that your grandfather gave you, that you put a lot of value into it. And it's going to be like, you're still going to value it, but you're going to notice that it's going to just kind of like, it's going to come down a bit. Probably because you're going to start to notice what the true value is, which is, us, So there's going to be something that's kind of falling away as far as that goes. I'm just going to cut the deck here. We do have the Six of Swords. Some of you are definitely leaving behind a situation. Some of you could be leaving behind a relationship. Although I'm not necessarily feeling that. I'm feeling it's more or less work-related or career-related. Some of you might be in school and might decide to drop out. Some of you might leave a relationship. Some of you might just take a break in a relationship. We have the universal love card here, and the Ten of Cups. So those of you who do happen to leave a relationship this month, note that the universe is setting you up to really meet, what they will say, the love of your life or your soulmate, whatever like that. And it's not that bad. It's not as bad. It's gonna hurt, obviously. It's gonna suck. But some of you who maybe leaving behind a situation, whether it's a relationship or a job or maybe, like I said, school or whatever it is, you're kind of being set up to, it's like, it's still love. It's still love. It's still love. Like, no matter what happens, it's still love. You're being guided in the right direction. Let's see what else we have here. Tower and Six of Swords, Chariot, Three of Pentacles, Ten of Cups. Okay, let's see what we got here. Top of the deck, we have the King of Wands in reverse. Some of you may be dealing with a fire sign, either an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. Beneath that was the King of Swords. Some of you may be dealing with an Aquarius, an air sign. Some of you may be dealing with Gemini, Libra, or an Aquarius, but probably more or less Aquarius. I'm feeling this is really Aquarius and Leo energy. And it's interesting how these two cards came up, and they're like opposing each other. They oppose each other. And then we also have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We have a couple of reversal cards here. And the interesting thing about this is that what I really feel is that, like, with these king energies, whenever two of them end up in the same group of cards that come out, I usually think it has to do with something within you. Like, it's usually like an internal thing. So there's going to be this part of you, the passionate side of you, that's going to want to do something and act on something. And there's going to be this logical side of you that has another thing that wants to go for something else. And it's going to be very logical. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune. But it's reverse. So it's going to be like you're trying to figure out, what way did I go? What way do I go? And it's almost going to be like you kind of want to think, if I go this way, I might get that Ten of Cups energy. If I go that way, it might be the Tower energy, and I might have to leave behind something. I think either way, these energies are going to come through, but it's going to be like you're really going to be stuck between your passions, and then your mind, which is this whole thing, of course, with Saturn being in your third house and all of these energies in your third house. Your mind is going through a transformation. Like your mental body is going through a deep transformation. And of course, Mars is bringing a bit more of that passion now, wanting to move things forward, especially since it's going into Aquarius, though, which is kind of interesting how that kind of brings those two things together. But then you do have Saturn, which actually co-rules Aquarius, right? But it's at the beginning of Capricorn, so it's a little bit more in that energy. And it's still kind of having a bit of that influence of the Sagittarius energy since it's so close, especially with it being somewhat close to the galactic center point. So there's also that as well. And I would say that really this is about balance. You know, the North Node is in Leo, so there's definitely going to be more. There's definitely going to be more of a spiritual calling to follow your heart instead of to just, I guess, follow what you would think is logical. But also, you do kind of want to think things through, but not overdoing it, if that makes sense. Because I think whatever happens, especially with this Wheel of Fortune card being reversed, it's not saying that necessarily misfortune is going to happen or bad luck, but if you overthink things and you project that into your situation, some of you might even ruin a good situation. Some of you guys might be overthinking, and I'm dealing with this. How I am potentially in a good situation that could be better. Of course it could be better. But a potentially good situation that can evolve into something very beautiful, but projecting doubt and insecurity into that situation and painting it as something that it very well could be, but could also very well be something else. Something beautiful, something that you can be happy to be, that you're happy to be a part of, something that really fulfills you. Some of you guys definitely have a situation that you probably need to leave behind. And in some area, I think all Scorpios are going to be dealing with this. But there's also this other side where you could be projecting onto your current situation an idea or a thought or a doubt or a fear that it's something else, and it's probably not as bad as it seems. I'm talking to myself for this one. It's probably not as bad as it seems. It's still all love. But let's see what else we have going on here. I'm very interested. Yeah, there's definitely going to be an interesting little battle here between your passions and your thoughts and intellect. Let's see what else we have to end off the stream for you, Scorpios, my beautiful Scorpios. Okay, that card flew out. Kind of even do like a little backflip. We have the King of Pentacles. Wow. So this is interesting how we have three kings pop up in this. And then we have the Chariot card here, which if you think about it, the Chariot is kind of like, you know, it's what the king rides in on, right? After they've, you know, it's like they carry the king or the prince, whatever like that, or, you know, the royal figure on this chariot, and they're walking through the capital or whatever like that, and everyone's like, oh, it's the king, it's the queen, blah, blah, blah. But it's interesting how we get two kings. The King of Pentacles was upright, even though it kind of did like this weird flip. It was the one that's upright. And it's very interesting because this does have, you know, it has a bit, I'm feeling more Virgo, mainly because the sun is in Virgo, but this is also about grounding yourself. And I think it's interesting that we also have to consider, unless I somehow pull it here, that the only king that we didn't draw was the King of Cups. So I think this is another thing where how we have these three energies, and you can almost think of it as all these energies with the king are kind of like creating like this square to each other, with like this elemental square between the kings, the fire king, the air king, and the earth king. Where the earth king is going to be like, okay, yes, you might have this battle between your passions and your thought process, but what about what's real? What about what I can touch, what I can hold? What about my senses? So I think that's actually good that it comes up and that it's upright, because it's going to be like we may be wanting to really change our situation because we want to feel the fire, we want to feel the passion. And there's nothing wrong with that. And especially since Venus is coming into our sign, you're going to be wanting to feel that. But also, you got to think logically about things, and you might be overthinking things, and your intellect, you might be thinking that you have to do something crazy in order to really feel the passion, feel the love. And you might have to. You might have to. But also, there are miracles in your everyday life, and there's love in your everyday life, and there's great passion and vigor to feel in your everyday life. the King of Pentacles is kind of coming in. It's like, whoa, whoa, we got to ground this. We got to ground this energy. We got to ground this passion. We got to ground this. And really, it's like coming to an overall sense, you know, an inner sense of what's going on here. Let's see what else we have. Now, if the King of Cups somehow comes up, that's going to be very interesting. But I have a feeling that the King of Cups is not going to come up, which the fact that the King of Cups doesn't come up also says something. Because ironically, that's you. You know, that's, you know, Cancer, your energy, Pisces energy, but that's you, the King of Cups. And it's also coming, it actually allows you, Scorpio, to actually be objective in this whole thing. To be objective about this month. Said if it doesn't come up. Well, let's see if it happens to come up. I'm going to do one more. We do have the Eight of Cups, so some of you definitely are having to leave something behind emotionally. Underneath that, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. This is like, you definitely could rush into things without really thinking things through, and it might work out. It might not work out. I think still, whatever it is, you're going to be able to find the fortune, whatever it is. Some of you guys may be running away from a situation that you don't necessarily need to run away from. You just need to alter your perception on it. Some of you guys may be running into a situation that looks good, that the grass looks greener on the other side, but you don't really know if it is. Underneath that, we have the Hermit. The only way that you're going to know this is by going within. This is a solitary journey. So that's not saying that you have to just, you know, become the hermit on the mountain and just go off and just say fuck society. Does not mean that those of you who are in relationships need to just say fuck the other person and go off, especially if you're happy, especially if there are no serious red flags. There are going to be issues in all relationships, but especially if there's no serious red flags, you know, like serious mental, verbal, emotional abuse, then, you know, it's probably going to work out. You know, it's some of you might have to leave a relationship if you find yourself in that situation where it's very, very abusive, or if, you know, and even some of you that may not even necessarily be feeling the magic, you might want to leave, but that might be because you're under the whole guise of this whole Hollywood thing. That could be what the Tower is for those of you in relationships. It could be like maybe the relationship does fall apart, but it could also be that your whole idea of what you thought love was, and what you thought romance was, and all this, you know, these relationships was, that whole thing could be coming to an end. Your perception of that could be coming to an end. Which actually might put some firepower back into your relationship. You might be like, oh, this is actually very beautiful what I have going on here. It's like, yeah, I guess it could be better, but I mean, shit, I'm not necessarily squeaky clean. I got skeletons in my closet. I'm working on myself. I'm doing the spiritual work. And this is just like the conversation I had with my cousin yesterday. It's like, I think about it, I'm like, man, this person really does love me, because they put up with my shit, and I'm trying to learn how to forgive myself. Self-forgiveness is going to be very key. The fact that the King of Cups still hasn't come up, I want to draw the bottom card, and that's going to be the last card. Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords. This is a trap that you are putting on yourself. This is a trap based off of your perceptions. And really, though, especially with how the reading began with Universal Love and the Ten of Cups, even though it was reversed, remember that your perception, you can flip it upside down. A 6 is a 6, but it can also be a 9. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the person that sees it as a 6 is wrong. It doesn't mean that the person that sees it as the 9 is right, or vice versa. It doesn't mean that way. But what it means is that you have the ability to take the blinders off. You have the ability to, because if she took off the blinders, she would see, first of all, just how beautiful these swords are. But if she took the blinders off, she would see that she could easily just move out of that. She can actually really just move out of that. Actually, what she could do is take one of those swords and then use her power and just like slash away through the fears and the doubts and the anxieties and move forward to the new world. Move forward into the new you, the new reality. I think some of you could be making a mountain out of a molehill. I think some of you actually need to move on from whatever the situation is. And I think every one of you, there is something that is coming to an end. You know, it could be an actual physical situation, like I said, job, a relationship, maybe leaving school, whatever. But also, it's like this whole, you've been perpetuating this anxiety on the future, and this anxiety on the success that you can have. And it's like the universe is saying that the King of Cups is not here. So that's pretty important that the King of Cups doesn't appear, which means to me, which tells me that compassion is going to be very key for you. Self-compassion is very key, and it's actually going to allow you to be rather objective through all this, which is very interesting. It's very interesting that you're going to be rather objective about this. Because let's be real, it's hard for Scorpio to be objective. Let's be real. But it's going to allow you to be rather objective about this, but coming at it from a surprisingly compassionate place, where it's like you're going to learn throughout the month of September to have compassion for yourself, to allow yourself to be, to allow situations to be, and to, yes, you can change situations, but I think this is really about kind of going with the flow of the universe, embracing that it's all still love, and situations need to come to an end, they come to an end. But if they don't necessarily have to, and if you really want to work on things, and if you really feel, and there's some reversals, there's some weird cards in here about letting things go and moving forward, but there's also a lot of energy in here about trusting yourself and trusting in the universe and having faith. So this is going to be a month for you, Scorpio, of self-trust, faith, and knowing that you are coming to the end of this really dark period. You are coming to the end of it, and brighter things, very beautiful bright things are in the very near future. A lot closer than you probably think. That is it for your reading, my beautiful brothers and sisters. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, you can follow the link in the description below too, the AquarianAdepts.com. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.